I'm Sam Owens. I'm COO and co-founder of Boodil. Boodil are your new favorite way to pay. We are a Manchester-founded open banking payment solution supporting e-commerce merchants and SMB businesses within the UK. We enable these businesses to offer a safe, secure, and rapid pay-by-bank solution on their checkouts or invoices. And we're a founding team of 4 industry experts ready to take on the online payment space. So Boodil was founded in March 2022, and following that we raised £500,000 in pre-seed funding in October to deliver our product into the market. And we've got 3 core propositions which I can't wait to demonstrate to you today. But firstly, just to de-jargon and demystify what we actually do. So open banking payments effectively mean a rapid account-to-account transfer or an instant bank transfer. And some of you may have interacted with open banking and not actually realized it. HMRC have a payment method where you can securely pay by your bank, so that may resonate with some of you today. But just to contextualize the benefits of offering an open banking payment solution to a business, it can rapidly change the game. So firstly, payment processing fees are significantly reduced. There's no Visa, there's no MasterCard in the way or expensive card rails, so it's very favorable for merchants. Secondly, settlements are instant. So they take seconds, not days, because there's no acquiring bank and there's no merchant account. So from a cash flow perspective, it's a game changer for businesses. And lastly, there is no chargeback mechanism, which can be a massive pain point for merchants. So all these benefits sound super well and good, but they're completely null and void if users are not utilizing open banking as a payment method, which is why we founded Boodil. Our mission is to increase consumer and customer adoption of open banking as a payment method, and we do this via 2 key pillars. The first of which is to create a D2C brand at the checkout, much like how PayPal and Klarna have done in their respective segments of the payments industry. We want to own the domain authority around open banking. So when you see pay by bank and open banking, we want you to think of Boodil. And secondly, we've got a really exciting consumer rewards proposition where we reward customers every time they spend. Similar to Amex, but the opposite side of the coin. So instead of rewarding those high discretionary spenders, we're rewarding the everyday spend. And I'll get into how we're doing so in our product demonstration. But for our first demonstration today, we have our e-commerce payments proposition. So we've effectively built an out-of-the-box payment solution that can be easily installed onto a website, a mobile application, or an e-commerce website. Now, as part of our mission to become the most customer-focused open banking payment method, we need to make it as easy and frictionless as possible for a merchant to install our payments widget onto their e-commerce proposition. So we've got a super slick API which just requires 3 front-end lines of code in order to integrate Boodil's out-of-the-box payment solution onto their website or mobile application. But then we've got the other side of the coin, which is our access to e-commerce platforms. So we have a total addressable market in the UK of about 350,000 e-commerce merchants given our platform integrations. We recently got approved on Shopify as one of the UK's first open banking alternative payment methods, which is a massive achievement not only for ourselves but the industry. And we also have WooCommerce, Magento, AeroCommerce, and Sticky as integrations. What's to be said about our proposition is we're not saying to a merchant, we are your only payment option. We're very much an alternative payment solution. So there's very little friction for us to get put onto a checkout. So I'll give you a demonstration of just how our payment method works. It is it's very quick. Obviously, I'm going to say that. So keep an eye onto it because the demonstration is quite a fast video. Just load this up now. So you'll see us sat as an alternative payment method on this particular e-commerce website. Pay by bank with Boodil. Our widget loads up. It recognizes that I bank with Monzo. I press into Monzo. I'm now in the Monzo banking app. I secure the payment for £12.47, and that payment has done. I'll be redirected back to the e-commerce merchant with my order confirmation. And the really cool thing here is, as the order goes through, not only has that order been received, but that particular merchant has their funds landed into their business bank account. There's no acquiring bank, there's no merchant account, there's no delays, so it's super good from a cash flow perspective. So the next proposition that we have to sort of demonstrate is our consumer engagement proposition. So this is our mobile rewards app. Boodil does not require the consumer or a user to download anything before they're able to make a purchase, but we implore all users to download the app because there are some amazing benefits. So our proposition is for every £1 spent via Boodil, we give away 1 point. And the idea is you accrue points that can be redeemed inside our mobile app for prize draw entries. As well as this, we have a tiering system, so the more points you earn, the higher your tier, you're effectively leveling up, and as a result, you can enter more exciting prize draws. So I'll give you a quick demonstration of our mobile app, which is live to download in the App Store now, both Android and Apple, so please do so, that would be fantastic. So this is our mobile app. These are the various tiers that we have. I'm currently sat in the silver tier as a user. Now, I can redeem my points that I've earned with Boodil to enter into a daily prize draw, which I could win a £30 shopping voucher, a barbecue, which is our weekly prize at the moment. We gave away some AirPods last week. And now our monthly prize draw is a £600 holiday voucher. Now, the higher the tier, the more expensive these become effectively, and more exciting the prizes. We allow our users to shop participating Boodil retailers within our app. And then we're also giving them exclusive brand deals with some of the UK's largest, most prestigious brands, the likes of MyProtein, Currys, Goldsmiths, Aspinall of London, Domino's, Dunelm. The list is endless. And we really want to give back to the user and create that sort of ecosystem whereby they continue to come back to Boodil. Now, you'll see the £12.47 transaction from the previous slide has dropped into the app, and I've earned the points for that. We've got live push notifications, keeping me up to date with my Boodil spend. And we also have a really slick function for referring a friend where you can get 250 points, which will let you play for a holiday voucher. So again, please do download the app and refer a friend. You'll get points where you can enter for a holiday. So behind any application, you need a scalable CMS system in order to make us a scalable business when we have hundreds of thousands, millions of users. So we've built an in-house CMS proposition, which effectively is the engine room behind our mobile app. So inherently with running prize draws, especially one every single day for various tiers, it's quite a complex structure. However, our CMS system makes it look super easy, so we can give this to any member of the Boodil team, and they'll very easily be able to schedule prize draws and sort of manage the app. Now, as well as the prize draws, we also have the ability to send push notifications right to users, whether that's a specific user that we want to say, thanks for your custom with Boodil, here's some additional points, or whether we want to let them know there's a new brand that's been added into the ecosystem. Again, a fully schedulable push notification platform. We can add emojis in there. Again, we're trying to really drive that consumer engagement and get them into our application. And then we can also update our live rewards club proposition, so we can keep our offers fresh and dynamic and add new and new brands every single day. So again, this is an integral part of our proposition. It's built, it's scalable, and we're looking forward to rolling out more content within our mobile app. Now, I've obviously heavily touched upon e-commerce as a massive market, but I'm missing here a huge segment, which is the SMB market. Now, there are currently 5.6 million SMB businesses in the UK, and we wanted to make it accessible for every single business in the UK to deploy an open banking payment solution. So we coined the term Pay by Portal, which is our in-house hosted payments portal, which can be totally branded, no code required, and fully customizable to a business. In essence, it really does have the potential to change the game for a merchant. So I'm going to run you through a couple of different iterations and use cases of our Pay by Portal, and I'm sure you'll see how powerful a proposition this is to any SMB business. So what I'm going to do now is, I'm the merchant here, pretend Boodil's a merchant. I need to send an invoice for £1. So I'm going to go ahead and pre-populate a £1 transaction with an invoice reference, and I'm going to send it to sam@boodil.com. After entering a PIN number, I can ping out a payment link, and that will now be received to sam@boodil.com. So now we'll see my mobile phone open up. I've now received that email. It's fully branded with a clear call to action. That user will simply enter in and be able to check out, make that invoice payment. So it's fantastic if, for example, you have, let's say, a late payer. They haven't paid their invoice. You can fire one of these out on the fly, either via email, via SMS, or even embed it into your initial invoice. Now, as soon as that payment goes through, the customer receives an automatic branded payment receipt, but obviously the merchant gets instant notification too. Now, I talked about how these can be customized to any business, any brand, or any requirement. So you'll see some of the use cases here. This particular business required an awful lot more fields than the last example, and again, obviously relaying their brand logo, any messaging, etc., into their respective portal. So it's a real great off-the-shelf product with no integration required for any SMB to offer open banking. Now, the next proposition is our QR code for in-person and in-store purchases. So in this scenario, we're going to pretend my screen, I'm a vendor, someone's come to take a face-to-face payment. I'm going to turn either my laptop screen around or my mobile phone screen around to generate a QR code, which simply, once it generates, the user will simply scan the QR code and be taken into a pre-populated checkout. So as you'll see the same again, my mobile phone should appear, and I can go ahead and make that payment. So this is a perfect example for example, a tradesperson comes to your house, their PDQ machine doesn't work for a card. They can easily turn their phone into a soft POS device, and the user can make a transaction much more secure than either a cash or alternative. Now, the great thing here is those live automatic updates. Those 2 ticks represents not only has the transaction gone through, but those funds have been settled as well. And then the final use case of Pay by Portal. This is great for the likes of a professional services business, like a solicitor or an accountant, where they might not have an e-commerce proposition, but they have a website nonetheless, and they perhaps want to drive traffic to a self-service Pay Your Invoice, Pay Now button. So we can point that Pay Now button to a fully branded self-service environment. So that user can go on in, enter what their invoice was with the reference, go ahead and make an open banking payment. Now, because we're on desktop, the user will either need to scan the QR code or complete the payment within their online banking environment. And again, the same sort of payment flow without the need to enter any manual details, can go ahead and complete that transaction. So super safe, super secure, very cost effective, and obviously businesses love it because their funds are settled immediately. And I guess just to finish up on and sort of draw to a close, just to very quickly touch upon our commercial model. So we're live across a whole range of different industries, merchants from SMB through to enterprise, across e-commerce, across our Pay by Portal as well, with 2 fundamental pricing models. We have an e-commerce structure whereby we charge a small percentage and a pence element, so 0.6% plus 20p, comparatively cheaper than a respective card option. For higher risk sectors, we charge a small premium at 0.9%, and obviously, as with any enterprise sale, bespoke pricing for enterprise clients. And our Pay by Portal proposition, we wanted to tailor it to any industry. So we have a bespoke percentage and pence pricing model, but equally as well, we have a monthly subscription for businesses that this may suit as well. So a $9.99, $14.99, and $24.99 a month bundle. But no, thank you so much for your time and for listening to our proposition. As mentioned before, really do encourage you to download the Boodil mobile application. And if any of you own either an e-commerce business or an SMB business and want to have a chat, we'd love to tell you a bit more about our proposition. Thank you very much.
Oh, incredible. Thank you so much, Sam. I mean, doesn't it make you feel so incredibly proud that innovations like this are coming out of our city? Which sets us up really nicely, because before I invite our next shortlist demo to the stage, I want to show you our sponsor video for today, which is from Manchester Metropolitan University.
The most rewarding thing to see is when a business comes to Manchester Met with just an idea on a piece of paper, and we're able to take them through that innovation journey, start to build on the ideas that they've got, and take them through any technical assistance that they might need to give them something tangible at the end, and then watching them launch that into the market successfully.
Since studying the AI Foundry, that really opened up our eyes and gave us the opportunity now that we see that it's a lot closer in our grasp than what we thought it would be.
As someone with extremely basic technical knowledge, cybersecurity knowledge, the course has been extremely helpful. I might not need to know, in great detail, everything about cyber. At the end of the day, I'm still accountable for my business.
Hello everyone, my name's Muir-Rogers and I am co-founder and Chief Revenue Officer of GigPig. I'm absolutely delighted to be here today and to talk to you about GigPig, but I must admit I'm even more delighted to be wearing a Brittany mic. Thank you Pro Manchester for making dreams come true. Whether you own a chain of bars, or nationally, or a small pub in Inverness, GigPig will completely transform the way you book entertainment for your venues. GigPig is already being used by some of the UK's leading UK operators to book artists and streamline their businesses, enhancing guest experience, driving footfall, and increasing spend per head. Let's take a look at GigPig. The hospitality sector in the UK is facing an incredibly challenging operating landscape. So what are the benefits and effects of having live music in your venue? Well, 78% of consumers are more likely to visit the venue. 76% will buy more drinks. 73% will stay longer. Footfall, spend per head, and dwell time, all core metrics of any successful hospitality business. So what's the problem? The independent entertainment marketplace is the final bastion of the Wild West. It is completely unregulated. Few know it exists other than those who provide the talent and those that book the talent. Venues have no time to locate, audition, negotiate, book, and pay artists. So they outsource to third-party bookers, leading to high costs for venues and reduced fees for artists. Artists want the gigs, venues want to book them, but there are gatekeepers. The sharks in the water, the backstreet bookers and agents. The solution, GigPig. And here is the mighty Albert Schloss, for those of you who know it. I'm sure there's a few. GigPig is designed to support operations, finance, and marketing teams in streamlining the booking process, discover new artists, see and listen to them before booking, see everything in one place, automated reminder emails and texts, a built-in API that lets consumers know when and where gigs are happening in real time, automated accounting, forecasting and analytics, and analysis of dwell time and ROI. Reduced admin, centralized systems, automated communication, and forecasting and analytics. So let's take a bit of a closer look. So booking your gigs. Create quick view favorites lists. Venues can source, watch, and listen to artists, discovering new talent, direct messaging and reminders, and a built-in rating system. Not like TripAdvisor, where people just get destroyed. A bit more like an Uber rating. Were they on time? Did they hit the brief? Would you have them back? Automated accounting. So musicians aren't inherently the most organized people in the world, believe it or not. We have clients who haven't been able to close their financial year as they're waiting on over 50K worth of artist invoices to arrive. So GigPig automates this entire process for them. Calendar management. Sync all your bookings across your business to one place. Create quick templates and manage individual or multiple sites. Additional features, marketing features. Share gigs seamlessly to your socials. Have all the marketing material you need in one place. And our built-in API and widgets sit on your What's On page, letting your guests know what's being booked where and when. We have 24/7 customer support and on-the-ground account management. So artists in numbers, we have 4,500 artists using the platform already, which is already the biggest centralized independent marketplace in the UK, with 60 to 100 organic signups per day. But what are the benefits to an artist? More gigs, all in one place, better fees, reminder emails and texts, showcase yourself, a bit of a shop window to promote yourself. And the best bit, it's all free. We will never take a penny from an artist. What's the market opportunity? Well, it's absolutely massive. We've identified a 9 billion global addressable market. Gigs are booked the same across the world. The challenges are the same, the pitfalls. Our platform faces both the B2B on-trade hospitality sector, but also the B2C private hire and wedding sector, working with brands, events, and agency partners. Where are we tracking in the last 6 months? Well, we've recently just hit a 35k MRR. We've completed 1 merger, 1 acquisition, generated 1.8 million for the artist market, saved venues over 400k in booking fees, live in 22 cities, and recently launched into new markets, Ibiza, Berlin, Barcelona, and Dublin. We're set to hit 10,000 artists by year end. Operators using GigPig, these are some of our favorite local watering holes, but over 600 venues currently using the platform in the UK and EU. What's next with our data partners and integration? So pull all your hospitality tech into one dashboard, working with your EPOS, Wi-Fi, and CRMs to analyze guest behavior, sentiment, dwell time, favorite genres, and spend per head, and respond in kind with appropriate entertainment bookings. What do we charge for this? Well, the maximum a venue would pay on a pay-as-you-go model is £10 per gig. This is 60 to 90% cheaper than the current model in the market. We also have standard subscription and enterprise subscriptions that bring the price down, and our premium managed booking solution where we do it all for you. What's next for GigPig? We have global ambition. The process of booking entertainment is the same the world over. By centralizing the independent entertainment marketplace, GigPig will improve the artist marketplace forever. Future builds, AI-suggested artists, ticketing, emerging artist funds nurturing new talent, e-commerce to the addressable market, and the largest talent pool in the world with GigPig Records A&R, and a front-end independent music streaming portal. Who are we? Meet the team. So we've worked in music, tech, startups, marketing, hospitality, and finance for FTSE 100s for collectively the last 30 years. And this is our gorgeous team, which is growing day after day. We recently won the GP Bullhound Northern Tech Awards. And yeah, Spotify, I guess, who would we like to be like? The Spotify of the independent live music marketplace. Thanks very much for your time and listening to GigPig.
Go, Kit, that was amazing. See, I told you it was going to be difficult. Okay, so we've got one more to go, but before that, I would just like you to take a little look at a video that Pro Manchester has put together. It's not just these conferences, they work year-round to put on some incredible things for the business community in our local area, so have a look.
Hi everyone, it's fantastic to be here today. My name is Caroline Welsh and I'm on the founding team of Leafyard. So Leafyard is a mental health journey that is working with organisations big and small and is transforming people's lives all over the world. So Leafyard, the reason I talk about Leafyard as a journey, it's very important. Because when we look at the things that are actually working to improve physical and mental fitness out in the world, quite often they do take the form of a journey, talking about things like the Couch to 5K app, huge success story that transformed people's lives by breaking up one enormous achievement into small chunks that were achieved over a long period of time. Secondly, Weight Watchers, which we all know and love, essentially a set of rules that people follow to, if I follow the things that Weight Watchers tells me to do, I'm probably going to lose weight. If I don't, I probably won't. Now, these are really interesting and quite coercive mechanisms, behavioral mechanisms we can actually use to drag people along a certain predetermined path to make them feel better. And that is exactly what Leafyard is. So a bit of background about us. Our background is purely in behavioral science. So we've been tasked by some of the world's biggest and best organizations over the years to solve some really tricky problems. Probably our biggest claim to fame was we solved an enormous UK banking and fraud problem that at that point is costing the banking world £3 million a day. And at that point, while the Microsoft and IBMs of the world were looking very much at the technology alone, we actually looked at the human behavior, and we were able to reduce that fraud overnight to zero just by looking at how people flow through the banking world and adding a little bit of software. So that's very much where we come from. And more recently, we turned our attention to mental health, mainstream mental health, which we all know is an enormous problem in today's society. And you're probably thinking, there's 1,000,001 mental health apps out there. Why is Leafyard any different? So I'm about to give you 2 proof points, really, to let you know why the world is really paying attention to what we're doing as an organisation. So the first proof point is speed of growth. We've been launched just under 18 months now, and already we've made customers out of the British Army, Peugeot, Citroën, Stellantis, the police force, doctors in the NHS prescribe Leafyard. We've had some amazing results in organisations like the Daily Mail Group, really stressed out employees working in some quite difficult conditions. We've got, Manchester's own CTI Digital, big legal firms like Hill Dickinson, accountancy practices like DSG, the GB rowing team. There's all kinds of people who use Leafyard from all walks of life. And I think there's a really broad section of society who have really switched on to what we're doing in the last 18 months. So that's the first proof point. The second proof point is something really interesting happened to us just before Christmas. In the clinical research team at the Academic Department of Mental Health at King's College London undertook, unbeknownst to us, a full review of Leafyard, and I'm really, really proud to say that the study, really recommend you read, by the way, it's a really interesting study, that they saw statistically significant increases or improvements in mental health across every single measure that they tested for, whether that's sleep, anxiety, stress, depression. Really interesting study, so I'd really recommend you give that a read. It's one of the reasons that analysts in the space are referring to Leafyard as a third wave solution, in that we're actually studying the people, how they flow through the interventions, how they engage with them, rather than just the interventions themselves. So that meant that when we put Leafyard, when we began the process of actually putting Leafyard together, we asked ourselves two really key questions. The first question, from a clinical research perspective, what actually works to improve mental health? Because, let's be honest, people tell you hugging a tree or surrounding yourself by crystals works to improve mental health. We wanted to know, from a clinical white paper perspective, what are the things that actually work? And when you dig down into it, it's the stuff that we all already know works. Get some sleep, work on your social relationships, work on your thoughts and feelings and behaviors and how they interact, get outdoors, spend less time on your phone and more time just working on yourself, things like that. So really basic interventions. Which then, if all this stuff, if we can prove that this works out in the world, if we know from a clinical research perspective, this stuff makes people feel genuinely better, then we have to ask ourselves a secondary question, which is, why is the problem getting worse? Why do more and more people seem to be suffering every single day across the UK, across the world? Why are more people suffering? And the answer then becomes purely a behavioral one. We don't actually do the things that we know work to improve our mental health. It's far easier of an evening to be scrolling through our phones, scrolling through Netflix, not getting outside, not getting fresh air, not practicing the things that we know work to improve mental health. So that's essentially what Leafyard is. It's everything science says works to improve mental well-being, wrapped up in a behavioral framework to drag you kicking and screaming to doing the actions that you need to do in order to turn them basically into habits. So it's really important as we go through this demo, absolutely nothing in here has been invented by the Leafyard team. We've taken inspiration from everywhere, whether it's neuroscience, the very latest research in cognitive behavioral therapy, visualization, sports psychology. Absolutely nothing is invented by us. We take huge inspiration from things like Sweaty Betty, Peloton, Lululemon, and they make a movement out of their customers. They're really good at creating purpose, getting people to achieve a goal, and it's really effective at getting people to feel part of a mission and actually lead to them taking action and doing things and feeling part of a community, which is really, really important when it comes to solving these kind of problems. So how does it work in practice? Leafyard is a web app, so you can use it, you can install it as an app on your phone, you can use it on your Xbox, your TV, wherever you like. So we sign into our Leafyard account. Now, typically it will take a user 18 months to do a full lap of Leafyard. And how it works is we deliver you short videos 2 to 3 times a week that just give you practical guidance, sound advice, strategies, and things you can actually go and try out in your daily life without anyone knowing, to improve your mental well-being. And the reason we do it over 18 months is when you look at the interventions that are actually working out in the world, things like if you go to your doctor and you go to your GP with any kind of anxiety, stress, depression-related issue or disorder, they'll prescribe you 6 sessions of CBT over a course of 6 weeks, which work brilliantly. But the problem is the skills fade on things like CBT is really, really severe, because by week 4 or 5, people feel much better, and they go about their lives, and they stop doing the things that have actually been making them feel better in the first place. We don't give ourselves long enough to ingrain these techniques as habit. We don't give ourselves long enough, and as a result, when the chips are down, when we go through a hard time, maybe we go through a breakup, money worries, work worries, home worries, we don't mentally reach for these techniques. We fall back on some unhealthy coping mechanism like drinking a bottle of wine every night, you know, whatever it may be. So I'm just going to play a quick video now to give you a taster of what this actually isn't a chapter from Leafyard. It's just a quick taster to give you an idea of the style that we're going for with Leafyard. Style is really, really important in behavioural science.
You know, as you live your life, it can feel like you're overthinking everything. Have you ever struggled to explain why seemingly random events pull up such strong emotions? Or wondered why your brain gets locked into a cycle, playing out hypotheticals from the future? Well, you're certainly not alone, and the answer has a lot to do with the evolution of the human brain. Now, as you know, Leafyard is all about equipping you with the knowledge of how your brain works and how your neurological makeup affects your behaviour, so you can get to the root of the cause and start feeling better.
So a couple of things to take away from that video. Number one is the very obvious YouTube style look and feel. You know, if you want to change the wheel on your bike, these days you go to YouTube. It was really important for us to take that visual language of YouTube and frame this as a learning experience for the individual. And the second thing is we really don't shy away from that BBC science program style of language. You know, the modern consumer does about 12 to 14 hours of research before buying a hairdryer nowadays, and that's not just me. And there's a real desire to understand the workings out. Why do we feel the way we do? What's our biology and chemistry doing? And what can we practically do to actually change that? So I want you to imagine now, you've watched your Leafyard video, it's giving you your practical guidance, your actions to go out and do, and we now arrive a few days later in our email inbox, and it says the next leg of your journey awaits. We click to watch the next video. So we watch a video, we get a nudge. Watch a video, get a nudge. And these nudges are everywhere in behavioral science. You know, we see them on our Apple Watches reminding us to take more steps every day. I've got an app on my phone that reminds me to drink water of all things. And they're really well-worn techniques to pull people along a predetermined pathway and achieve a goal. So what we're actually doing here is we're setting up this beneficial cycle whereby these email nudges engage, incentivize, inspire, and actually promote lasting change through the magic word, repetition. If you want to get good at anything, be it your mental health, playing an instrument, learning a foreign language, you've got to do a lot of it on a really consistent basis over a long period of time. And you may say to yourself, you know, what if I'm just feeling too down in the dumps to respond to a nudge? Or, you know, we all lead busy lives. You know, what if I forget to respond to a nudge that day? Or I just don't feel like it? Or I'm a bit stressed out and I don't have time. Does my journey stop there? Well, no. In terms of the software, the email nudges actually change and become more persuasive over time. So while the early nudges are very much the, come on, we're all in this together, the later nudges are a little bit more approaching tough love, dispensing two important realizations. Number one, people don't magically get better from this kind of thing. You actually have to actually put in the work of feeling better for yourself. And number two, there are people all over the world who are feeling better, doing the things in Leafyard, and are feeling better as a result. If you do the same things, these science-backed techniques, proven techniques, you stand every chance of feeling better, and that can be really powerful. So because we're doing these nudges so often, we begin to do some quite interesting things. We ask users to perform a self-assessment every few nudges, and we quickly go through really mainstream questions like, how am I sleeping, how am I feeling? I go through here and I click on my scores. We actually use these scores to use AI to change the user's pathway through Leafyard according to what they need. So if I'm suffering from poor sleep, it's going to feed me sleep-related content. And the AI is constantly trying to work out the next best thing for me to try as an individual. If all of us in this room started our Leafyard journey today, by day 18, we'd be on vastly different journeys. So that's really powerful. It's also clever enough to change the strength of the guidance. So If users are feeling good, it delivers mental fitness, prevention, resilience, all that kind of stuff. If users are feeling down, it will deliver targeted things like CBT, really, targeted interventions. And if users are feeling really down, scoring low scores consistently, it gives a different kind of treatment, which is it actually signposts and persuades the user to reach out for face-to-face specialist support. And I'm so proud to say that this mechanism here has saved many, many lives, particularly in the armed forces, particularly in the military. We've had letters from parents who've written in to say that by doing their Leafyard journey together, they've been able to retain custody of their 2 young children. We've had military veterans who have said, they were in deep, deep crisis and felt unable to reach out, didn't know where to turn, and actually by coming through this triage process, it gave them the courage and, more importantly, the cue to action to make them reach out for support. In some cases, reaching same-day emergency assistance, and that's obviously been a huge success for us as a company, and I think that's one of the proudest things we've done as an organization. So final thing to touch on, that's kind of it for the demo, is how we share this with the world. It's really important if you're sharing any kind of mental health intervention, that it's framed in the right way to reduce stigma. So what we do is we roll this out. We've built a bit of technology that rolls it out by gift token. Love affair with gift tokens has never gone away, and it allows us to put it in this space that's more like a gym membership. You start your journey. Your organization is investing in you as an individual, in your mental fitness. It also means we can keep it totally anonymous. Users can try this on their home device, away from the watchful eye of their employer. It's completely 100% anonymous for them to use. And just to show you how important and powerful this mechanism is, what we're going to do today is give everybody in this room a Leafyard gift token, not just for you, but to gift to a friend, a family member, someone that you care about or you think would benefit from a little bit of mental fitness. And when you give it to them, just watch their reaction and see how powerful and how much hope this ability to start your journey can be. There is always a next step that people can take to feel better. There is always something you can do. So that's it from us. The team and I are here all day. We would love to chat to as many of you as possible. We've got a stall just out there, so please come and chat to us. And thank you so much for the opportunity to show you what we've been working on.
Okay, you guys have got a really tough job ahead of you. So if you